international arbitration, do they travel a lot? And I think the reason that for international arbitration, those people who is involved in international arbitration, they probably travel more because sometimes their clients are overseas. The arbitration proceedings may be conducted overseas, and I think hence they do travel a lot. But I think at an early stage it may look very interesting, very exciting to have to be able to travel and all that. But bear in mind that all this traveling are work related and it can be very tiring. Okay. I think it depends on which jurisdiction you're talking about, because in some jurisdictions, litigation can be very fast. Okay. For instance, you take Singapore, litigation is very fast. In fact, Malaysia, in the recent years, litigation has become very fast. So to say that arbitration would necessarily be faster than litigation may not be so. Okay, the speed of an arbitration sometimes depends very much on the subject matter and also the arbitrator that you have appointed. So I mean, I've experienced arbitrations which has been conducted very fast. I've also experienced arbitrators which has taken a long time to complete. So it is very much depending on the person who conducts the arbitration, and that's why I said that background experience is important for someone who wants to be an arbitrator, because without that background experience, you may not be able to manage the arbitration well, and you may not be able to ensure that the arbitration is run smoothly and expeditiously. So it depends very much on the arbitrator. And of course, like I said again, some jurisdiction litigation are still very slow. So in those jurisdictions, then by comparison, I suppose arbitration would be faster. Yeah. Actually, I don't know why they call it a kangaroo court. Okay, it's less formal than the court proceedings. It's not true to say there's no formal settings. Okay, there is still a formal settings in the sense. Of course, in court, if you do litigation, perhaps when you do your arguments or when you examine the witnesses, the counsel would stand up and address the court and would also examine the witness in that manner. In arbitration, you usually sit in a long table, and usually one set of the parties will sit on one side, the other set of parties will sit in the other side, and then you have got an arbitrator and a witness. But when it comes to the hearings, there'll still be a proper procedure. I mean, it's not like you say anything as and when you like. You will still do the same stuff, like you will still examine the witness and all that. So the other party would still have to wait for you to finish your case before they can then do the cross-examination and all that. Of course, in some instances, the arbitrator will also ask the question. So in that sense, it's less formal, but it is not, you can just say anything and do anything. It's not exactly like that. I think there's some misconception that because of the fact that one always said that arbitration is less formal compared with litigation, people have this misconception, but it's not true. You will still have a formal setting. Yeah. I would say that my most memorable arbitration would be the ones I started off in the earlier part of my career. The two arbitrations I started off in the earlier part of my career. The first one, as I mentioned earlier on, is the one that I was probably second year law practice, and I got involved into the arbitration. I still remember that when we had that meeting before the arbitrators, first time attending an arbitration prelim meeting, didn't quite know what it was until I started to read up and all that. And I went into the arbitration proceedings with my clients. I think there was only one of my clients and myself, and I had another colleague who was with me. And there was three of us on one side of the table, and then came the other side with a whole entourage of army with the senior counsel there. So that was my first, most memorable. When you're second year, kind of intimidating. It's not someone like, oh my goodness, this person is more than 10 years my senior, what should I do, what should I say? So you just hold on tight and then hang on there. So that was my first one. The second one was even more daunting, because the second one that I did, which was pretty much about the same time as well. Also, I think I was probably my third year then. And I went before an arbitrator who was about 30 years plus experience in legal practice, and my opposing counsel was 20 over years plus in legal practice, and that was of course quite daunting, by the fact that you're junior and these are all very senior people. But that arbitration was good because the arbitrator was a very nice person, and I think we went well. But of course, it was daunting at the beginning, but just charge on and you'll be alright. Have confidence in yourself. You need to do your homework, know your stuff, and just act tough.